Hey guys, and welcome back to the series where we talk nothing but Fantasy Premier League. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy the video and help me reach my target of 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I've also got some brand new content in the works which I shall release should I reach this target. Don't forget, if you want a chance of winning that £50 first place cash prize in the league, then all you have to do is get subscribed to make yourself eligible for the prize and then enter and win my FPL league. For the Brettsby Babes, there hadn't been much to shout about in recent weeks. With discontent growing among you, the fans, I urged the players for a reaction. We did the cliche act of dusting ourselves down and going again, and the Brettsby Babes have picked up a very respectable 63 points this game week. It's a welcome change for the Brettsby Babes, seeing green arrows all around and putting my side nearer to where we want to be, rising above roughly 150,000 managers and back into the top 7%. We still have a way to go in order to achieve our target of a top 100k finish, but hopefully this week will kickstart a consistent run of green arrows. New bandwagon signing Matt Phillips brought us in some points this week, bagging an assist, and what a feeling it was to have him assist my other player, Gareth McCauley, who showed he's a defender that can really pop up with a goal here and there. Dejan Lovren's price of 5 million is looking good value for money currently, with himself and Matip forming what looks to be a very decent defensive partnership. Liverpool have tightened up a bit of late and picked up 2 clean sheets on the bounce. I was keen for an Aguero captaincy this week, but with rumours and concerns that he may not start or be fit, I decided to play it safe and give it to Mane for the first time this season. When considering Mane's home form, it seemed like a justifiable decision. He may not have banged in 2 goals, like Aguero did, but he still picked up an assist, which is certainly better than nothing. Charlie Austin popped up with a goal in the opening minute of his fixture, heaping more misery onto Everton and proving that he is exceptional value for money from an FPL perspective. This week, I'm delighted to tell you lot that for a change, I've actually completed all my transfer activity before making the episode. So for one of the very few times this season, I'm actually able to show you my final team for the upcoming Game Week 14. With the ever-changing prices of players, it was one of those game weeks where I just had to get all my business done early to make sure I wasn't outpriced on players later in the week. With the funds I had at my disposal, I decided to sell Romelu Lukaku and Roberto Firmino for the informed Jermaine Defoe and the re-emerging Alexis Sanchez. Getting rid of Lukaku seemed a no-brainer, with Everton out of sorts, and I'm sure lots of managers will do the same. Firmino, on the other hand, it wasn't an easy decision. I was just really keen on bringing Sanchez back this week, and someone had to make way, and I decided to stick by Mane instead. With Philippe Coutinho injured and out for a significant period for Liverpool, I just wasn't quite as comfortable doubling up on that midfield. And with Coutinho now out and Firmino playing without that key creative spark behind him, there's that small possibility that Firmino may see a slight role change for Liverpool in the coming weeks. It could come back to bite me, but honestly I'm just happy to have the explosive Chilean Alexis Sanchez back in my side, especially alongside Eden Hazard, which makes my midfield look very strong now. One of my strong considerations that didn't make it into my team was Gylfi Sigurdsson this week, and that was a bit of a wrench for me as he's been so consistent as of late. And I'm sure a lot of you managers will see the Icelandic midfielder as a natural replacement for Coutinho. He'll certainly remain on my radar for the following weeks, but I don't want to go crazy with transfers, and he does face Tottenham away next, which won't be easy. There's always that opportunity of bringing him in for game week 15, but again, that could be for another point hit, so that decision can wait until next week. My defensive player to watch this week goes to the ever-present Virgil van Dijk. Following Game Week 13, Southampton made it 2 straight clean sheets. They've been lauded as one of the league's most organised teams for a while now, and that remains the case after their last 2 results. Van Dijk has been exceptional this season, which has seen him receive praise from a lot of the football pundits. He does come in at a pricey 5.5 million, but with their next 4 fixtures against Palace, Middlesbrough, Stoke and then Bournemouth looking very favourable, then he could be a great addition to your squad. However, if 5.5 million is a little bit too heavy for you, then perhaps consider his much cheaper teammate Cedric Suarez, who picked up bonus points in his last appearance and comes in at a significant 0.5 million cheaper. Speaking of Southampton, Charlie Austin seems a safe bet this week. After another goal from him against Everton, he now comes up against Crystal Palace's dreadful defence, who have conceded 17 goals in just 5 games. Will he let us down this week? Well, anything can happen, but it doesn't take a scientific formula to work out that Austin should surely put at least one goal past them. The Saints have also come off a good win in the Cup against Arsenal in midweek, which will definitely serve as a confidence booster, and significantly, Charlie Austin was given a nice rest, so he'll be nice and fresh to face Palace. It wouldn't surprise me to see Charlie Austin as a nice differential captain choice this week, and with a very modest price tag, he's proving a very popular acquisition as the weeks go by. Prior to game week 13, Wilfried Zaha of Crystal Palace had assisted in 4 consecutive game weeks. You could perhaps scrutinise his lack of goal threat, but in game week 13, not only did he take his run of assists to an impressive 5 on the bounce, but he also added a goal to his tally, which has further strengthened his appeal as a real FPL option. If you are looking for that cheap 4th or 5th midfielder, then current form suggests Zaha could be a great shout. Crystal Palace's form has been woeful this calendar year, but this hasn't stopped Zaha racking up the points in recent weeks. Currently, I've got the alternative in Matt Phillips, so I won't be looking at Zaha just yet personally, but he more than deserves a call up in my players to watch. Gylfi Sigurdsson of Swansea is another consistent player who retains his place in my players to watch this week. Swansea have really struggled this season, but it'd be easy to miss that looking at this guy's statistics for the last few game weeks. Sigurdsson has returned points in 5 of his last 6 appearances, with 3 of those being 9 points or more. He was the main man in Swansea's 5-4 thriller against Palace, and I have no doubt that his measly 5% ownership will rise significantly in the coming weeks. He faces a much more organised Spurs next, his old club, so I can understand some managers perhaps waiting one more week before bringing in Sigurdsson. But on current form, I couldn't blame anyone transferring him in this week. West Brom took their unbeaten run to 3 in game week 13 with a 1-1 draw with Hull. They'll probably be satisfied with the draw there, but probably more happy to see Nacer Chadli return from injury. This highly anticipated return sees him go straight back into my players to watch. A lot of managers, including myself, will have jumped on the Matt Phillips bandwagon by now, and with another assist from him last game week, there's no need to be getting off that bandwagon anytime soon. But if you find yourself without either West Brom player, then I think Chadli could be the better long-term option. Harry Kane's a player that if I'd had the funds available, I'd have probably brought him in myself this week. But with me buying Sanchez, unfortunately, Kane just wasn't within my budget. But I think with a home fixture against Swansea next, he'll prove a very popular choice. Not just to have in their side, but also to potentially take the captaincy armband as well. After Swansea's victory over Palace last week, that will provide a small confidence boost for their trip to White Hart Lane, but let's face it, they still conceded 4 goals in that win, so Kane and Spurs will be fancying their chances. And after defeat to Chelsea and a poor Champions League campaign, the Tottenham fans will be desperate for a proper performance here from Spurs. Alexis Sanchez burst back into the scene in game week 13 with 2 goals against Bournemouth. He's one of the very few players that you can just never ignore in Fantasy Premier League. It doesn't matter what form their team is in or who they're playing against, on any given day they can just explode back onto the scene, and this is exactly what Alexis did in game week 13, bagging a massive 14 points. Despite competition from Giroud, he retained his place in leading the line for Arsenal, and after that performance, he'll look set to do it again against the leaky West Ham, who also had a tiring cup game in midweek, which could play a factor. Jermaine Defoe gets a nod in my players to watch this week. It was a difficult trip for him and Sunderland playing away to Liverpool last week, but they've still been on a good run recently, despite this result, and now face a very unpredictable Leicester at home. The reigning champions Leicester haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 6 game weeks, so Defoe certainly has a chance to bag some points here. At a very fair 7.6 million, on current form you just can't argue with that price tag. And if you're anything like me, a downgrade from Lukaku to Defoe seems very lucrative, freeing up some more transfer funds to use elsewhere. Okay guys, that's all for this episode. Apologies for the slightly later uploads recently and missing Point Predictor last week. I've just had a lot on my plate, but we'll return to normal very soon. Thanks as always for the support, and make sure to check out my other recent videos shown on screen. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Take it easy and good luck in Game Week 14.